Okay, good morning. I'd like to welcome everybody to the February 8th, 2024 Board of Public Works and Safety meeting. Roll call, please.
Mr. Locke.
Here.
Here.
Here. Are there any conflict of interest statements?
No.
No, sir.
Approval of the minutes of the meeting of February 1st, 2024.
Motion to approve those minutes.
I second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Bid openings, I don't see any. 6 matters from other department heads or their representatives. Mr. Button.
There's a line item for me,
Oh,
isn't there?
yeah,
A?
Yeah.
Item
Yep.
A.
Oh, sorry. Request for proposals for the design of a new NICD Westlake downtown Hammond station.
Thank you very much. Good morning to the
Welcome.
board.
Good morning.
On behalf of the Board of Public Works and Safety, the engineering department received proposals from firms for the new downtown Hammond design of a train station. We received 6 proposals, and we received 3 letters declining submission, which was a good thing because we wanted to make sure we had significant number of competition. I'm going to provide the board a copy of what was received yesterday by the deadline, and this will be sent to a group of 3 individuals to score these proposals and make recommendation to the board. So I asked for you to receive these proposals. Written list of them submitted.
Gotcha. So we're just motion to accept these, Dean?
Thank you, yes.
Yes.
Motion to accept the proposals as submitted.
I second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Number 7, correspondence, letter A, correspondence received from Dean Button, Capital Improvement Board, requesting $22,366 of CIB funding to be allocated for the initial site characterization, 4703 Hammond, Chicago Street Phase 2 project submitted for approval.
This is only the funding allocation. The work had been agreed to by our esteemed colleague in Hammond Environmental Department, Mr. Ron Novak. During the course of Chicago Street Phase 2, we purchased a number of parcels. One happened to be a former gas station, and most recently a car lot at the southeast corner of Hammond and Chicago. That location had underground fuel storage tanks that had been removed, but the paperwork had never been closed out. And so we hired Enviro Forensics to assist us with the closing of the underground fuel storage tank site. And the Capital Improvement Board met on Monday, and we would ask for your approval of this funding allocation.
Dean, they weren't able to, before they closed it up, locate any fissile under there that could be used. No?
They weren't able to,
Locate any fissile?
no, they weren't okay with locating a
Thank
fissile.
you. Thank you for helping us with
Yes,
that.
Thank you.
Sure, yes, sure.
Motion to approve this as submitted.
Thank you.
I second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. You don't know how big that was, Dean.
Yeah.
That was huge.
Yes.
To even get me to say that.
Huge, huge.
Big.
Letter B, correspondence received from Dean Button requesting $23,337.77 of CIB funding to be allocated for the Hammond Avenue Phase 1 project and change order number 16 with Reith Riley Construction submitted for approval.
I'm still
Stuck on the
flabbergasted
fissile.
over this last
You
action.
don't want fissile, I mean, we all know that, right?
I really don't
Okay.
need any today. This is a funding allocation for change order and also the change order to approve additional work that happened as a result of hiring the contractor to remove concrete and vaulted sidewalks that were on the east side of Hammond Avenue. We found a significant additional amount of concrete, reinforced concrete and steel plates that needed to be removed that we didn't expect. And so this is for that work. It's been reviewed by the engineer, and a recommendation had been made by them to approve that. Capital Improvement Board met on Monday and approved the funding allocation. So I'd ask for your approval on both the funding allocation and the change order.
Motion to approve both the funding allocation and the change order as submitted.
I second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Letter C, correspondence received from Dean Button requesting $57,815 of CIB funding to be allocated for the State Line Road closure and change order number 2 with Reith Riley Construction submitted for approval.
Last summer, we had a record of a vehicle driving through our landscaping in order to leave the subdivision, and so it was suggested by the administration that we install guardrail to prevent people from driving through the landscaping along State Line Road, and so this is the cost of that. What's significant are the end sections that are much more expensive than we've seen in the past, but these are the end treatments for the guardrail that attenuate the energy if a car were to hit the guardrail. So Capital Improvement Board met on Monday and approved the funding allocation, so I'd ask for your approval of the funding allocation and the associated change order.
Motion to approve as submitted.
I second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Letter D, correspondence received from Dean Button requesting $450,000 of CIB funding to be allocated for 2024 sidewalk program submitted for approval.
Annual request from engineering to perform the sidewalk program to eliminate tripping hazards to the extent possible with the funds provided, improving curb ramps, those sorts of things for the sidewalk program. This is just the funding allocation. J&J Newell Concrete has been our sidewalk contractor. They have, this board has approved their request to continue that relationship for the current year, and the Capital Improvement Board met on Monday and approved this funding allocation. I'd ask for your approval.
Motion to approve.
I second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Letter E, correspondence received from Dean Button requesting the approval for the replacement of a no dumping sign to be placed in the right-of-way behind the asphalt on the northwest corner of 150th and White Oak Avenue.
This came up last week. There was some concern about, from the councilman about dumping in that area. We've been working with Mr. Castro to resolve some of those issues, and I looked at the site and it looks reasonable to place that sign behind the back of the asphalt.
Motion to approve.
I second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Button. Number 8, matters from board members. Anything? Moving on to new business, letter A, right-of-way permits. Looks like there's 3 of them received from engineering submitted for approval.
Good morning, Board.
Good morning, Mark.
So the first one is NIPSCO one, approximately, I believe it's 3 poles. They are going to just upgrade their system on those poles throughout the city. The second one would be La Hacienda Restaurant on 150th and Columbia, which Mr. Moore was instrumental in getting the parking lot paved and so forth. This is for the fence. So I would recommend that approval. And the last one is the train is back. So they have various, approximately 6, maybe it's 7, locations that they need to shut down. They're going to do it under flagging for 2 hours just to put the loops in, just like a traffic signal loop. So they can detect any kind of vehicles stopped there. So I would recommend approval. That shouldn't hamper traffic. The major intersection would be 173rd, but it's still under traffic.
Yeah, just for clarification, it's Douglas, Waltham, Highland, Detroit, Conkey, Kenwood, and 173rd are the areas. So, good with that.
It should go rather quickly. It's 2 hours. They're planning on doing 2 to 3 a day.
One at a time.
One at a time, definitely. Sorry, I
Gotcha.
didn't say that.
Okay,
Thank you, Mr. Buck.
Motion to approve the right-of-way permits.
Thank you.
I second.
thank you. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Letter B, notice of hearing for 1320 to 22 Michigan Street. Good morning.
Good morning, Board. We did an inspection of this property in October 25th, 2023 because of suspicion of illegal unsafe units in the building. During the inspection between myself and Mr. Luter, we did find out that the basement apartment did not meet current building codes, so we've requested an order to remove it. The owners live in Australia, but the property manager is local. He was there with us during the inspection, and he is also a licensed contractor and has already worked on removing the illegal unit. So I'm actually waiting for a call from him to do a final inspection to make sure the unit's been removed. Basically, it had issues with fire separation, lack of egress windows, and there was no permits ever to add the basement unit into this building, so we're just requesting the board finds that it is unsafe and orders the removal.
So you just need us to approve the findings?
Yep.
Motion to approve the findings for 1320 to 22 Michigan.
I second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Letter C, notice of violation hearing for 4350 Sheffield Avenue. Good morning.
Morning, Board.
Morning.
We inspected the property of 4350 Sheffield on December 1st of 2023. We had received some complaints from tenants about heat problems, but we also discovered some issues with the rear apartment at this property, lack of fire separation all around the interior area of the unit, of the area leading to the front area. The property set up quite odd. There's a rear addition to the property, and then there's a breezeway connected to the front structure. And at some time, this rear structure was converted into a unit, but there were no permits to account for the creation of the structure to be converted from a addition to a apartment. So we're asking that the board affirm the removal order.
Motion to affirm the removal order and accept the findings.
I second.
All in favor, say aye.
I think the
Aye.
Are you,
I'm here on behalf of the owner, representing the...
okay, could you step up to the mic and give us your name, please? Could you give us your name first?
My name is Jesse Rodriguez, on
Okay.
behalf of Reliable Properties. I'm here to address any concerns that related with the property. So yes, just going back what the inspectors mentioned, the inspection was conducted back in December. So we received a letter from the city about some of the concerns. So we immediately proceed with to address those. We even were able to start doing some of the work. We pulled permits. We started addressing some of those issues, and then we received a second letter to attend this meeting. And there was that second letter. There was some additional items that are related to plumbing, electrical. We tried to pull permits recently, and they were denied. So we are here to address. We bought that house in 2022 with tenants. We still have one tenant there that we inherit. So I understand that at some point back in the day, maybe some work was done. We were not aware. But we are here to address those. If we had to, be in compliance with the city, we would like to work with the city.
Okay, so my first question is, you're saying you agree that the apartment needs to be removed?
Well, we want to be in compliance with the city, with their ordinance and codes. So if that's the case, that some permit were not pulled from previous owner, we are here to address those issues.
What can you guys add to that?
So we had initially inspected the property, I believe prior to his ownership. The problem was that we didn't have access to all the units of the property. So it currently sits right now and is constructed as a 4-unit rental. The second floor is a singular unit. The first floor is divided into 2 front and rear units, and then there's this rear attachment building that fails to meet any of the minimum standards. And so then in consideration for the number of units that are there, in order for this property to meet minimum code requirements, it would have to comply with the International Building Code for a commercial residential property. And the effects that all structural supports are required to be non-combustible material. There's higher regulations and restrictions for those type of buildings, and the zoning would have to be such that it falls within the parameters to support a 3-unit. Anytime you go over 2, that's when those codes and the zoning requirements kick in. So we have no problem working with any property owner. If they feel they want to explore the options of having the property meet minimum code requirements to be occupied the way it sits, they can hire a licensed contractor, engineer, and submit plans to the building commissioner for review to see how they're going to make this structure fall within the requirements to be occupied safely. And then they would have to work with the zoning department and planning to determine what variance or conditional use they would need in order to occupy a building that doesn't meet the current zoning that's assigned to it. So based on our findings of the inspection, the lack of the minimum requirements with the IBC is what prompted us to file the notice and requested the board affirm that order. If, the owner has every right to obtain, a licensed contractor and submit plans and for approval, just like anybody would be.
Well, have you guys spoken? Have you spoken to
I
him
know-
prior to today?
Chris has been coordinating with him and setting up this inspection. I have not spoken with the gentleman. I know Chris had let him know if, he can hire a licensed general commercial contractor. I believe you have a residential general?
Yes, well, it's a separate entity. We also are residential, that store is, Reliable Properties, the owner, the construction is a separate entity. So we did pull a permit because it was just, and the first letter was drivable. It's related with the, not having fire assembly drivable, so, and some fire-proof exterior doors. So we were able to address that, but what I can see, this is just more than that. So plumber, electrician, we already met with 3 different licensed contractors for HVAC. They assessed the property, made an assessment, they even gave a quote, but the plumber tried to pull permit and the city said, no, let's go to the hearing first. So basically, I communicated that with the other sub and say, just hold off, let's go to this hearing, let's see what the city would like to do. But we already have licensed plumbers, electrician, and HVAC that already assessed the property, and they.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Have the plans been given to the city yet?
No, there have been no
No.
plans submitted. The issue was we have a new administrative assistant. She was not aware of the alert that was placed on the
Well,
property.
I would just want to ask that.
Go ahead.
Have the plans been submitted to the city?
Well, we never plans were never requested to begin
Okay,
with.
gotcha.
So
Okay.
we just received a letter with a couple items to
As an
address.
inspector.
Because it seems to me it's going to be difficult
Yeah.
for the board to reach a determination. I mean, obviously, you can't have a basement apartment, okay? So unless there are plans submitted that then are reviewed, and then the building department or Kearney or Mr. Farrell can give the board their recommendation after review, right?
Right,
So
right.
right now, it just seems like we're in this in-between.
I agree, and because they haven't spoken, it's not like he's not doing what they're asking. That's why I'm wondering if we should set this for a week or two
Yep.
and give them a chance to have
Fine.
communication.
An
Yes.
inspection report was issued,
Okay.
and that's how, we have a new administrative assistant, so when he got the inspection report based on Chris's findings, he then came in to apply for permits. That's how a permit was mistakenly issued for a doorway to be swapped out. But yeah, if we want to set over for maybe 2 weeks, we can.
I think that's fair. I
Yeah,
think then you have a
well,
chance, he can understand where you're coming from and vice
Absolutely.
versa,
Yeah,
so.
go through everything.
I'm not opposed to that at all.
Okay, so 2 weeks, we're good with 2
Please.
weeks?
Yep.
Okay. The 29th? We're not gonna take any action today.
No, that's fine.
And we're gonna,
I'm sure.
okay.
Absolutely.
Once they're done.
Okay, we're gonna do a motion to withdraw to accept their findings at this time and set the matter for status for February 22nd, 2024.
And is the board ordering them to meet and?
Yes.
Okay.
Sir, before you leave, they need to make sure how they can get a hold of you so you guys can communicate, okay? Okay, thank you, okay.
I second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Let's see, that was Sheffield, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, letter D, authorization for placement with Sound Thinking Incorporated for the placement of sensors on city-owned property.
Good morning, Board, Mr. President.
Good morning.
And this has to do with ShotSpotter. I know that the President of the Board is familiar with this. The only thing I want to make sure, and I've spoken to Lieutenant Godey about this, is that the city can only issue and agree with this agreement as it relates to city property. So like, for example, last night, the Parks Board signed on to park property. I think there's some NIPSCO poles that might be affected that I don't think that's part of this agreement, but we just want to double check that. There's a listing usually on the second or third page, I think. And so I don't know if we have the authority necessarily. I'd maybe defer to Dean. Is he still here?
No, you left.
Okay, on whether or not we can, I don't think we can give authority to go on NIPSCO poles, but that's an engineering question.
Yeah, it's got City Hall, Police Department, Fire Department, and then 2 different fire stations.
Okay, then we're
listed.
good.
Yeah, we're good with all
And I've
those
let them
for
know
sure.
that 6219 Homan is not owned by the city anymore.
Yeah, it's not on here, but.
Okay, they must have taken it off.
Yep.
We're good. Okay. Would
Motion,
request its approval, I'm sorry.
Thanks, okay, thank you.
motion to accept and approve.
I second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Moving on to old business, number 10, letter A, status for 424 Goslin, AKA 4504 toll.
Okay, so this was actually set, I believe, for last week or the week before. I know, and I don't think Mr. Castiglione was present, so we reset it
Yeah.
to give him an opportunity to come. I see him here. Good morning. So current status is this. When we were here on, originally on January 4th, or wait, I'm sorry, when was the hearing date? Let me just make sure I've got that right. Yeah, January 4th. Mr. Castiglione objected. The board heard all the evidence. It affirmed the order. He also mentioned that at that time, he was willing to allow for an inspection. That inspection was scheduled. Mr. Luter appeared at that inspection. Mr. Castiglione did not appear at that time for the inspection. The order was entered, and notice of bids are proceeding. I think our bid date is April 2nd or April 4th or something like that. And so that's kind of the status from the city's perspective. Obviously, I know you want to hear from Mr. Castiglione, but the main concern of the city is getting that inspection done. And that didn't happen because Mr. Castiglione did not show up for the date of the inspection that was coordinated with Mr. Luter.
Before we speak to him, can I ask, that meeting time for that inspection, was that agreed upon? I just want to know if he agreed to that meeting time for the inspection.
Just for clarification, I made several phone calls with Mr. Castiglione. We get his voicemail. The one time he did answer, he told me he had to wait for his attorney. So there was no inspection scheduled.
Okay.
And I think that was, we spoke about it briefly, so miscommunication. So no, there's been no inspection scheduled because they're waiting for his attorney. But as I spoke with Attorney Smith this morning, perhaps Mr. Castiglione would agree to a date and time in front of the board so it's on record that we have a meeting, and as we discussed last week, I would get together with you to have police presence on that inspection as well.
Yeah, you mean going forward, correct?
Going forward,
Okay,
yes. So if
gotcha.
he would like to set something today, we would, or we'll at least have on record that he doesn't want to set something.
Okay.
Yeah, so just, I guess, to correct my comments then, and I apologize that
That's okay.
I misunderstood what Mr. Luter told me, but Mr. Castiglione agreed to an inspection on the 1st, but it has not happened yet.
Okay.
Or on the 4th of January, but it has not happened yet.
Gotcha. Good morning, sir.
Okay, it's got to be some misunderstanding here. I agreed to the inspection of the parking lot because I hired Mr. Flores to do the parking lot. He came, pull the permit. They told him no because that was me. Then they requested that it had to be inspected. So I came in and I agreed, pay $150 to have my parking lot inspected. He got I give the blueprint. I give a copy of my deed because they use the excuse that the address is incorrect. With my deed said 424 Godland and they changed it to 4504. That way I become residential without even taking me to court. So I pay the $150. I give all the paperwork. It's been 6 months or over since I've been waiting for this. Then they say that they need to inspect. My buildings have one little scratch on the front. Here down the street, there's buildings that are falling apart. This is a dangerous situation where the brick is falling down the street, and there's no demolition today. Why me? Because I didn't want to pay, like I said before. They want $5,000 to give me my water meter so I can rent the property. Why would I have to pay $5,000 to get a water meter? Why can't I put permits to, everything was done with permits for the last 15 years. And I'm not, my building is a warehouse, and legally, I got rights, and nobody had the right to come inside my building. The last inspection was done by Callahan and him, and they already went inside the building. Why did they have to go inside the building? If my lawyer said, as long as it's my warehouse, and if you pull a permit to do the facial you have, they don't give you the right to go inside the house and inspect the property. That's illegal. That's insane. So I just don't get it. When it's buildings that are falling, and you can even walk through it. It should be blackish there because people can get hurt. and it's nothing happened. And me, because a little stupid scratch, they want to tear my building down. They changed my ID numbers. They put me in the tax sale, even though I always pay early. I mean, it's so much messed up. I go to the FBI. They say, don't help them. They threat my tenant. I mean, this is terrorism.
Okay.
I'm sick of it.
Okay, hold on a second. We don't need the parking lot. That's not what we need to inspect.
No, I think we're talking about two different things.
We are definitely talking about two
I think
different
Mr.
things.
Castellanos, I don't know anything about a parking lot inspection. If that was something that he coordinated in the past, that's fine. I don't know anything about that. What he paid for the $150 recently was for the demolition inspection. So if the board affirms an order under the Unsafe Building Act, then as the board knows, there's a resolution that the board has passed in the past that said if you want to work on getting your property off the demolition list after the order's been affirmed, here's what you do. Pay for an inspection, allow there to be an inspection report, make sure we can get it into compliance. And so that is what he paid the $150 for the demolition inspection. And also the property that I think he's giving you pictures of, that is on the demolition list as well. So, but at this point, look, we have a valid affirmed order. It wasn't appealed. We're happy to work with Mr. Castellone to figure out how to get his building in compliance. I don't think there's been water there since '02 or something like that. So we just want to work with him. If he wants to try to get it off the demolition list, great. If not, we are continuing to proceed and are going to go out for bids in April.
Well, I need to go to court in front of a judge. That's what I need to do to get to this point.
Well, and at some point you can do that if you choose to, but.
I do, because
but
it's irrelevant. I pay $150 for the parking lot because that's what I've been dealing with. That's when they put the demolition list because they say my parking lot is not suitable and it's a scratch in front of the building. And that's what I understood. I know my English is not correct, but they already got a letter from my lawyer saying that the property is not permissible to go inside because it's my warehouse. They knew that.
But how would we, just a question for you, why would we demo a parking lot? It doesn't make any sense.
They use the parking lot as the excuse to, why would you want to demo a building that is brand new? That it was brand new.
Here's what I can tell you. You paid the $150 for the inspection, and the question is.
For the parking lot.
Listen, the question today is, do you want to schedule a time for an inspection of the building?
I need to go in front of a judge.
It's a yes or no, it's a yes or no question.
Can I go in front of a judge?
You have that right to file anything you want to file. Today, you're not going in front of a judge.
Okay.
I'm asking you a question.
My lawyer said do not allow him to go inside because it's your warehouse. You got right.
So the answer is no.
I cannot give you the answer. I need him to answer that.
No, I need you to answer the question if you're going to schedule an inspection, yes or no? Or the building, not the parking lot.
Why would I have to
Sir,
have
it's a
people
yes or no
inside?
question. You can answer the question.
I cannot answer because I don't know. I'm not knowledgeable enough to answer that because I've been trapped into doing things that I'm not supposed to. Okay? They go and burn my fence. They treat me. I'm sick of it. This is terrorism.
Okay, for your non-answer then, I'm going to assume the answer is no.
No, the answer I had to get a letter from my lawyer.
No, it's either yes or no, and you haven't said yes, so I'm assuming it's no.
I cannot answer that because I'm not capable enough.
Okay, the city needs to just move forward with what we have to do.
The process is proceeding. So the reason that the ability for Mr. Castellone to to stop the demolition is to follow the resolution. The resolution says pay for an inspection, have the inspection set up, get a rehab agreement with the city, move forward. We do this all the time, right, with owners. So as long as he wants to participate in that, that's great. If he doesn't, totally his decision. If he wants to go to court over whatever he wants to go to court over, he can try to do that. He can hire a lawyer and do that. But the process here will continue to move forward, which is that it's going out to bid along with a lot of other properties, not just his, in April. So that's.
Why is the problem with my property? What triggered an inspection internally of my building?
I'm assuming that was explained to him at some point.
Well, remember, we had a hearing on it.
Yes,
The board had the
absolutely,
information
yes.
about
Can you remind me of what is the problem with the property?
that was already decided.
It was already discussed and decided. You were present at that hearing.
And what was it?
It was to set, you agreed to
I
pay the
agreed to the parking lot,
$150.
not to the inside. Because they already have a letter from my lawyer on the past saying that that's out of limits. If they want it inspected, they had to take me to court.
Can I just ask you a question?
Yes.
Why are you so opposed to you paid for it already, why are you opposed to having the inspection done? You're on record in front of cameras. This is all
But
recorded.
I misunderstood, because I came here because of
that-
the parking lot.
Okay.
The demolition, that was because of the parking lot and the scratch on the front of the building. That's what I
So
understand.
inherently, okay, remember, under Indiana law, inherently vacant structures are eligible to, are by definition unsafe buildings.
But it's not vacant.
Vacant structure. There is no, it has not been registered as a vacant structure.
It's not
So in other
vacant.
words, he either says it's residential or it's a warehouse, you know, I can just tell you that it is vacant. I don't think anyone's living there. If they are, they haven't had water since '02. So, you know, that's just one of the bases for it. It's totally covered. The windows are all, I mean, we've shown the photos to the board,
Yes,
right?
yes.
It's boarded up, it's covered, and it's a situation where the city believes as a vacant structure, it should be either registered as a vacant structure or it should be inspected. It wasn't. It came before the board as an unsafe structure. We believe it fits the definition. The order was entered, it was recorded. We're going out to bid. If he wants to appeal that, he's welcome to do that. My opinion is that time has passed, but that's up to him and his attorney.
I took the boards out because they were breaking my windows. So I bought it up. Now I removed the boards out. I pay in taxes, it's commercial property. I'm using it as a warehouse, and that's what it is. I don't need no water for a warehouse because I was not going to pay $5,000 for a water meter.
Sir, at this point, I feel like we're kind of going around in circles. The point is,
My question is, what?
Attorney Smith explained to you
Okay.
why we came to this decision. You now have the decision to let them inspect the property or not, and we're going to keep moving forward, and you have the ability to get an attorney and do anything you want with your attorney. But all we're asking is, why don't you just let them inspect the property? You've already paid for it, and then we'll give you an
Because
answer.
I got
after
too
that.
many valuable things in there, and I don't trust it because they come, it's a mess. If it's one single person, I might think about it, but when you got 10 people trying to get in there, and I got jewelry and I got things in there, I'm not.
Well, sir, I can tell you, I'm a police officer, and I will be present if it makes you feel any better with whoever does the inspection.
Like I said.
But you either agree or you don't.
How many people it takes to inspect? Because
I
every
don't have
time
any
they come in
idea.
and bombard
Two
me.
people, it takes two.
Okay.
Mr. Luter and one other person.
Two people.
Okay, I will
And
talk
if
to
it
my
is a-
lawyer.
If it is a warehouse, then really what we need to do is allow Mr. Castellone to discuss that with zoning to see if it can be properly zoned as a warehouse. I mean, a lot of this would be resolved, but right now we have it as a vacant building.
Right.
And that's the problem. So we are absolutely not against Mr. Castellone. We want to try to get to the bottom of this. And so if he's contending it's a warehouse, let Mr. Luter inspect it, let him see that it's a warehouse, because 12 years ago when it was inspected, it was totally gutted, and there were work being done without permits.
That's not true.
Okay, I'm just saying
I
that's
got the
what
permits.
That's what Mr. Kearney's position is, okay? So that has that's just for historical reference, not necessarily for today's discussion. So, again, if Mr. Castellone wants to work with the city wants to work with him, let the inspection proceed, because that's the way to resolve the demolition order. Otherwise, it just proceeds. Otherwise, it just keeps going.
Right.
Okay, I will talk to my lawyer and he will make the decision. I cannot make it for him.
And please have him contact me.
Yes, he will.
Okay, can we?
And in the meantime, can you please stopping, every time I hire a contractor to work any of my properties, they can do it because it's me. Why?
Let us
It
do
took
the
me 5
inspection.
years to get my roof in Kenwood.
Sir.
5 years.
Sir, let us do the inspection first.
Mr. President, if it's on the demolition list, it's going to have that demolition inspection. No contractor's going to be able to put permits until we get that demolition inspection. We don't
Gotcha.
know permits to do what.
What he's
What
talking
needs to
about
be
his roof on the place on Kenwood, he said is getting help out. The condo.
Properties,
I
yeah.
have
Other
no
properties.
knowledge of that. I have
No, it took me 5 years to get my roof done because every time a contractor went there, he goes, John, we cannot do it. I said, why not? You're legal. He goes, because then when we have an inspection, they take forever to inspect because they don't like you. I don't know what you've done to the city.
Absolutely false.
And I got
I-
documents from all my properties with the same problem. I had duplexes that became residential. And the moment that I sell them, they out of the demolition list and they use them as a 2 units. And I buy them as a 2 units. And then when I sell them, even though I got 3 electric meters, 3 gas meters, and it's over, and it's on every single property. It's just insane.
Well, this back and forth is kind of making me insane because it's really, you paid for the inspection at this point.
But again, I pay
Two
for the
people,
parking lot.
I understand, but 2 people will come and inspect the property. If it is a warehouse, it can be, it's zoned as a warehouse, then we're done. I don't understand why you're making this much tougher than it needs to be.
Well, it still has to comply with everything.
I understand, yes.
Okay, let me talk to my lawyer to see what he wants to do.
Okay, but I will let you know, you can talk to anybody you want, but we have to have an answer in a timely fashion.
Okay,
Because
I will have
it's
an
moving
answer
forward.
right away.
Okay,
He will send a letter to them.
okay, then that's all we need to do
Can I
then.
find out who the lawyer is if he knows?
Yes,
John Davids, the blind lawyer that the clerk make fun out of him. When I was outside and I got a witness, the lady collects the money. He said, "You think you're gonna win this case against the city of Hammond with a black blind lawyer?" And my answer was, "I don't see no white blind lawyers working." I'm sick of it. It's harassment, terrorism. They burned my fence. I had to take a sample out of there, send it to Mexico, and they said that chemical is only used by drill, by the fire department. It was a tremendous fire. After my tenant went to then a police officer went and threatened her life because she went on the radio. I mean, come on.
sir, okay, sir, we're done for the day.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Are we setting it over?
I don't think so. I think it's up to him at this point now to contact us. I think we made that very
I will
clear.
have the lawyer contact you right away.
Please do, in a timely fashion,
And I'm
okay?
sorry but it's 20 years of fighting the system. You know what I mean?
It's okay, but just
I
keep
had
in mind.
Chico
when I-
Hinojosa help me, he's gone. I had Salinas help me, he's gone. Every time somebody helped me, they disappear.
Sir, thank you. Have a good day. Okay, moving on to letter B, a status for 251 Detroit Street.
I don't know if Mrs. De La Paz is here. I don't see her here present. This is a property that was up for status today. She was going to get an inspection. She does reside in the property, is my understanding. You may recall this property. I can show you the photos if you want. But
I remember
You
it.
do, okay.
Yep, yep.
So has anyone had any contact with Ms. De La Paz?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the order was entered. We stated, I mean, she lives there. So it's in rough condition, though. Has there been any update? Richard, is that you or is that, that's Rob? Okay.
So we need a status?
I think I'd like another status with a letter to Ms. De La Paz to contact Linda. Could you make sure the letter gets out? If we could have like well, it is, I don't think it's going to be bid yet, so we definitely need another date, probably in March. Like
March?
a couple weeks or 3 weeks or something to give her time.
March 14th?
Yeah, could you reach out to her and see if she'll get this demo inspection by then? That's fine.
Okay,
Motion to set the matter for status for March 4th, 2023, and have a letter sent out to notify the owner.
you said
14th?
Did I so, I'm sorry, 14th,
I second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye.
sorry.
That's okay. Letter C, status for 607 State Street.
607 State Street did pay for and have an inspection. Mr. Luder's forwarded that to me, so we're hoping for a rehab agreement on that property within the next couple weeks, I would think. Because basically what he said, this is Mr. Gavros. He wanted to make it into a coffee shop,
Yes.
right? He was waiting for kind of downtown so he's got really good ideas. We're hoping it goes forward. I'm going to send him the rehab agreement. If we could just have a 30-day date. By that time, I think the rehab agreement will be signed.
Didn't you agree to get the windows repaired at the, I don't recall
What do you want?
because it's all boarded up.
If we went a little bit longer, if we use that March 14th date, Kevin, is that okay?
Yeah,
Okay.
Good on that?
I am. I'm just checking, Rich mentioned about the windows. Yeah, was he gonna board it up or fix them?
No, it is boarded up. He was gonna repair it. There's a tan paint and no trespassing sign.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Well, we'll make that part of the rehab agreement.
Yeah,
So,
I was going to say, part of the issue is making the change, fixing the windows, making a change and having to put in different windows.
Gotcha.
So,
yeah, it's that one.
Okay,
A motion to set the matter for status for March 14th, 2024.
I second.
all in favor, say aye. Aye. Letter D, status for 658 State Street.
658 State, Mr. Cornejo was here. This is that property.
Yeah, I think
Oh,
he's coming, yeah.
here he is. He was supposed to, he wants to, at the last meeting, he said he wanted to fix it up. He was gonna schedule an inspection, although we have not heard from him since, so I'll let Mr. Cornejo update the board.
Okay. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Could you just give us your full name again, please?
Alfredo Cornejo. Yes, sir. It's just, I didn't realize there was so much stuff in there. And I've been looking for a place where to move it, just because I can barely walk in there. My brother just stuffed it with, used it as storage for the last few years. I just need some time to move it and so I can schedule the inspection.
So you're concerned they won't be able to move around to do the inspection?
Yes,
Is that what you're
exactly.
concerned about? Is that, how much of an issue is that, you guys? It's an issue?
I mean,
Okay.
if that's what he needs more time to, as long as it's progressing and he's getting.
But he hasn't paid for it yet, right? So that's the issue, like, he hasn't necessarily paid for it yet. So,
Hey, sir, the $150 inspection price, can you pay that as soon as
Yes.
possible?
Yes, sir. I have
Okay,
no
do you
problem.
have any idea when you might be able to do that?
Before the end of the week. I'll come by and pay it tomorrow.
Okay, and then how much time do you think you need to get that stuff moved out of there?
I just located a place where I can move all the stuff, about 3 weeks.
2 weeks, is 2 weeks too much, or is that?
No, I would say 30 days and.
Okay, he's saying 3 weeks, so that works out good then. We'll use that same March 14th date?
that sounds good.
Very
And just so
popular.
Mr. Corneo understands, the process will continue to move forward. We're gonna bid out the property, and then, as long as he pays for the inspection though, and things are moving, then we'll stay the actual demolition, but he needs to pay that, and hopefully by March 14th, we can, have it. We still had already been in there or close to it.
Okay, so you have till March 14th, pay the inspection as soon as you can, pay for that, and then as soon as possible, get that stuff moved out of there so we can do the inspection.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, and you're coming back on March 14th at 9 o'clock, okay?
Okay.
Okay,
Motion to set the matter for status for March 14th, 2024.
I second.
all in favor, say aye. Aye. Letter E, status for 6946 Arizona.
6946 Arizona, you may recall Mr. Rhodes being here on this. This is the one with the fence.
Yes.
Right, fence is gone. The shed is allegedly down as well. If we could have 60 days, Mr. Rhodes continues to make progress on this property.
April 18th, is that okay?
Sounds good.
Okay.
Motion to set the matter for status for April 18th, 2024.
I second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
The meeting's now open to the public. Does anybody have anything they want to say? Chief, you good? Okay.
Motion to adjourn.
I second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye.